What a crazy week this was. But for some, it was very profitable. For others, it was very tragic. Let's talk about the very few news that we have and how do we see it next year in today's video. Let's jump right into it. Hey folks, welcome. We're very close to the end of the year and to the holidays. So Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. And with that, volatility is crazy. Most of the times there's no volatility in the market, but when that happens, we have huge ups and downs, huge green candle followed by huge red candles, one after the other. So this is what we saw this week. Massive candles for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Most of it was due to, of course, the usual manipulation in price, but we also had the BOJ, the Bank of Japan, raising interest rates by 25 BPS, which brings it to a 0.75% annual rate of interest, which is weird that this is the highest that Japan has had the interest rate so high in many years, I believe in over a decade. But that number is actually very tiny, just because Japan is used to having low or even negative interest rates. But if you take Brazil, for example, which has 15% interest rates, and everyone thinks is great because they don't understand how that hurts them in the long term. But you see how that's weird that a country like Japan with 0.75, they think they are very high when it comes to, interest rates and inflation. Meanwhile, Brazil has 15% and no one's blinking an eye. Actually, people are enjoying it because they can just leave that money into their savings account, making around that 15% per year, but they forget about inflation and their money devaluating compared to all other currencies. That being said, that volatility came because of the BOJ announcement, but it wasn't that big of a deal, and Bitcoin had a very profitable last 24 hours. So we are in the daily seeing a very big green candle. So let's actually look at the prices, and then we can jump more into detail into my week, which was very profitable on both sides. On Monday, I showed you that I opened a Iron Condor and I sold a Naked Call. So we're going to be looking at these, how profitable they were. Both of them were profitable, and the overall monthly returns for my portfolio. So jumping right now on the CoinMarketCap pricing, we have Bitcoin at 87,800, Ethereum $50 shy of $3,000, and we have BNB at 845, XRP at 187, Solana at 125. Then we have Hyperliquid at $24 and Zcash at $429. So in the fearing grid, we are at 16 extreme fear. Yesterday was 17, but today is lower, even though yesterday was lower in price and today we're higher in price, but we are lower in the extreme fear. You can see that in the past few days we have been floating and coasting below the 20. So we are still, the market is still very careful on what it does, because a lot of people is scared, and most of the people like myself, which already took some profits, they don't really care. I really at this point do not care. I want to have my holiday set with no external factors, including the pricing of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, whatever. I don't want that to affect my holidays and the time that I spend with my family. So because the market's all over the place, I just cashed out and took profits on most of my trades, and whatever is not trades, whatever I'm just holding, it is on my hardware wallet, and I don't really look at these. So they don't matter if it is up 80, 100%, or if it's down 80 or 100%, because that's my Diamond Hands wallet, and I don't touch that, and I don't even look at it. I don't even know exactly how much money is there. So that being said, let's actually look at Bitcoin right now. Let me move to the 4-hour charts, and here you see all these candles that I talked about. We saw this huge market manipulation, which then ended up dropping a lot. We went back up again, and then we had huge candles on the 4 hours. You see huge pump in price followed by huge dumps in price twice in a row. And then yesterday we had a huge dump in price. I think this was the BOJ. I'm not sure. I haven't checked the timing yet. But you see, this is a very weird, this is not a very common sideways market, because the sideways market is more like this part right here or this part right here. Not these huge volumes right here that we see spiking, especially on the red legs where we see huge amounts of money being sold. On Ethereum, as you can see right here from the two white lines, we were profitable. So I was able to make money. We actually went in the red a little bit. Let me move to the 4 hours. We actually stayed in the red a little bit. Right here, I thought that everything was already done. There was no way for us to go below, for us to go under, but this actually happened, and we had a huge candle that brought me below my strike, meaning that now I was in the red, and then in the hours prior to the expiration, the price went up and it closed profitable for me. So I stayed inside this range and I took maximum profit. So 3 weeks in a row since the 28th of November that we had 3 weeks in a row with 3 iron condors, profitable iron condors on this wallet. And for Solana, I sold the call. If you remember, this is the call that I sold, and we actually just kept going lower and lower and lower. If you remember, I even asked you to comment down below in the video, what price did you think that we were gonna close? Crypto Ricardo commented, I think someone commented in a short as well, but it was pretty much around the 2800, and we actually closed above that. I thought it was 2860, 2870 more or less, and we closed above this on Ethereum. So now looking at my trades for December, this is on the public account for Bitopics. If you don't want to count the last one, which is still in November, if you want to count just December alone, we made $390, $292, $296 for a total of $978, just shy of $1,000 that we made in this past 19 days. So around 10% mark on this account, 10% ROI in a month, which is beating the copy trading. Both strategies, unfortunately, the Alt0DT had a bad couple of days when it comes to trading, but overall last month, November, we did 10.39, and I still think that we can break even this week, maybe by Sunday, and then hopefully we can close this 2 or 3, 4% above in the green, so we can close the year profitable for everyone. That being said, my personal account now has reached the mark of 17%. You can see right here next to my face on the side, 17% returns, and this is since November 28th. So only with December gains, we're up 17%, which compounded gives me an APR of 282%, which not compounded, so just APR, not APY, gives me 282%. Of course, this number is very far-fetched. I don't think we're going to be keeping that number, but again, everything above 100%, if I'm able to double my money in the upcoming months, it is fantastic. Where can you double your money taking as little risk as possible and not having to hold meme coins, having to hold, stupid coins that you don't believe in? With options, you can do that. With a copy trading, you can do that. You can let someone else, a professional person, trade for you, and you pay, of course, the fees, but you keep a huge amount of it, over 70%. If you also have rebates and if you also have commission from referrals and affiliate links, you can get over 70% of all the money from trading with our professionals with the copy trading. I am very, very happy. I probably think that I'm going to stop right here at 17% this month. I don't think I need to make more. 17% return with stable coins in a single month. Let me actually go full cam for this. 17% is huge. It's huge. You don't do that with Uniswap. You don't do that with lending and borrowing. If you're looping, you might be able to do something similar, but 17% is great. And I want to keep my win rate high. So I don't want to be trading all over the place. I don't want to be trading when, there's no need to. 17% is fantastic. If I would be able to repeat all of this, I would be over 280% every month. So why try for more when it can hurt my P&L, hurt my, profit, hurt my strategy? I don't need that. So most likely, unless there's any other things happening, any huge volatility, any huge spike or dump in price, I don't think I will need to do anything weird. I don't think I will open any position, not only on my personal account, but also on the Bitopics public account that I have, which, by the way, if I look at the public account, we just crossed back above the $10,000 as well on that. So fantastic news all over the place. Where do I believe we're going to be in next year? There's a lot of different talks depending on which side of the market you are. If you follow a lot of bullish gurus, or if you follow a lot of bearish gurus, everyone is saying a different thing. I saw trading view charts with yearly candles. So one candle was 1 year, which the guy said we've never had 2 negative years in a row for Bitcoin, and then it showed the huge candle with a huge wick for this year, which we had an all-time high, and then we're now back at 80s. There's also people that are very bearish, saying that we are now in 1 year after the all-time high, 1 year until we get to all-time lows, and then we have another 4 years going back to all-time highs. So now we should be inside that year of hiatus, year of slowing down and making the cycles all-time low. So we'll have to wait. I personally think right now it's 50-50. We have to wait and see how things are looking on a macroeconomical and also political situation, since next year is going to be very important. Elections in many countries, elections all over the place, and these things are macro of political or economical importance. They do affect the markets as well. So it is pretty much like a 50-50 coin toss if it's going to be green or red next year. Of course, you can use your technical analysis, you can use all that BS that you want to, but we are seeing right now that the market can be manipulated, and it has been manipulated. So why do technical analysis at this point of the year when the masses are being controlled by, market makers and, huge figures, huge politicians. So it doesn't make sense. This is my 50 cents. And of course, you will disagree most likely. And if you do, leave it in the comments. It's okay. I'm not here to impose any ideals into your mind. I'm just here to share mine and share how Bitopics can help you, independently of what your thoughts are regarding the market, how Bitopics can help you achieve your goals. So thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you have an amazing weekend. I'll see you guys on Monday, on the last week of the month. Until the first one, we're not going to have any long form videos, but we're going to have the week full of shorts. So you'll still be seeing me, but not in the long form. So one Monday or one Friday, we shouldn't have videos unless, my internet's very good, but I believe it will not be where I will be staying with the family, but we'll still have many days ahead. I'm just giving you a little bit of a heads up. Thank you very much. Take care. See you next week.